How do cells take in and use food? You eat a ham and cheese sandwich. A giraffe eats leaves. A vulture eats rotting meat from a dead animal. A dung beetle eats. You get the idea. Animals take in food to survive. Despite their size and weight, giraffes get the nutrients they need by eating tiny leaves and twigs. Some animals, like humans, must eat every day. We cannot store enough energy in our bodies to go very long without food. Female whales, on the other hand, go months without feeding, while hummingbirds feed 5 to 8 times an hour. Animals process foods in different ways and eat different kinds of foods. Herbivores, such as cows and rabbits, eat only plants. Carnivores, such as wolves and lions, eat only meat. Omnivores, such as humans and bears, eat all forms of food. How much food do animals need to feed their cells? So, cow, what it eats? Plants, about 88 pounds or 40 kilograms a day. A giraffe eats twigs and leaves of trees, so that's about 140 pounds of food a day. Lion usually eats meat, and an antelope, zebra, or wild wildebeest. When hunting is good, males eat 95 pounds, females eat 55 pounds. Averages out to about 18 to 20 pounds a day. Hippo, plants, so that's about 88 pounds a night. A gray whale, mostly small crustaceans, so, oh my goodness, 728 pounds a day for 4 months, then nothing for the rest of the year. Dolphin eats fish, eats about 44 pounds a day. Hummingbird eats nectar as much as 3 times their own weight per day. And a gray wolf, meat from mice to moose, about 10 pounds a day, but they do not always eat daily. What happens to the food we eat? Let's follow that ham and cheese sandwich from the plate to your cells. You take a bite of a sandwich. Cells in your mouth sense the food and produce extra saliva, that watery liquid in your mouth. Your chewing and the enzymes in the saliva help break down the bread, ham, and cheese. You swallow, sending a mushy pulp into your stomach. Acid in your stomach breaks down the food into molecules, the smallest unit of a substance. A ham and cheese sandwich contains vitamins, minerals, fats, proteins, sugars, water, and fiber. As the sandwich passes through your intestines, nutrient molecules are absorbed into your body. Your cells need you to eat a balance of different foods to provide the nutrients they need. Cells in a lion's body process meat to get protein, fats, sugars, and nutrients they need to work properly. How do cells use nutrients? At this point, the cell takes over. They use calcium to make strong bone and tooth cells. Iron goes into red blood cells. Proteins are used to build muscle cells and support the growth of new cells. The carbohydrates in bread are turned into energy to power cells. The fats in the ham and cheese are processed and absorbed into cells. The unused parts of food become waste and pass from the body as feces or solid waste. No one type of food has all the nutrients human cells need. That is why humans need to eat so many different foods. Cows get all the nutrients their cells need by eating grass. Wolves and lions only eat meat, but their cell processes those foods to get all their nutrients from meats. Being a plant eater or meat eater is not a decision animals make. That decision is nearly like everything else, is determined within their cells. What products do animal cells make? All cells have specific jobs. There are bone cells, blood cells, organ cells, and so on. Cells produce products that help them work properly. Animal cells use four main molecules: proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, and fats. These molecules produce the materials that make up and run an animal's body. How do we make and use proteins? Proteins are found in nearly every living cell and fluid in your body. When you digest proteins, cells break protein down into amino acids. The amino acids form chains, and the chains make new proteins. Proteins that you eat are turned into different, more useful proteins in the body. Your muscles, heart, lungs, stomach, and most hormones contain protein. Hormones are chemical substances that control how cells react. Proteins also work in red blood cells, helping the cells carry oxygen. Antibodies in your body that fight disease are also proteins. All animals use proteins, but not always the same way. Keratin, a variety of protein, makes fingernails, tortoise shells, eagle feathers, porcupine quills, and the outer layer of roundworms. On the surface, a feather does not look like a fingernail, but through a microscope, the basic cells of these items look pretty much the same. These porcupine quills are made from proteins. Nucleic acids. There are two basic types of nucleic acid: RNA and DNA. RNA refers to the ribonucleic acid. DNA refers to the deoxyribonucleic acid. Nucleic acids provide the directions that tell cells where to go and what to do. A bone cell, for example, is only a bone cell because DNA told it to be. DNA carries all the information your body needs to determine what types of cells are formed and what those cells do. It is a huge information warehouse. No cell could read through all that information every time it needed to do some work. Within DNA are sections called genes that code for specific proteins. To make a protein, the DNA code is first copied into a piece of messenger RNA, mRNA. The mRNA leaves the nucleus and travels to a ribosome, where the gene's code is used to produce a protein. DNA in water buffalo cells determines the size and shape of the animal's horns. Where do cells get the energy they need to do work? Carbohydrates are fuel for animals. They provide the energy cells need to do their work. Carbohydrates should make up 45 to 60% of the total calories a person eats each day. There are two types of carbohydrates: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Animals sometimes need sudden bursts of energy. For example, an animal needs to run from a predator. A burst of energy powers muscle cells to give their fleeing animal speed. That energy comes from simple carbohydrates, or simple sugars. Simple sugars, such as soda, candy, and jelly, provide fast energy because they are quickly digested. The sugars in these foods are absorbed into the blood quickly. Simple sugars give cells a boost of energy. Although some are stored, most are used up too quickly to be used over a long period. Complex carbohydrates. Animal cells also need energy to do normal work, such as digesting food or building new cells. The energy to do that work usually comes from complex carbohydrates or stored energy. Complex carbohydrates are often starches like rice, pasta, bread, potatoes, fruits, and vegetables. Your body has to work to change the starch in whole wheat bread into sugar for energy. It takes longer for cells to absorb the bread's energy. Complex carbohydrates give cells more than just energy. Complex carbohydrates also have other nutrients that bodies need. Broccoli and tomatoes have vitamin A. Whole wheat bread and brown rice have protein and B vitamins. Potatoes have vitamin C and iron. Whole wheat bread is a complex carbohydrate that is a good source of energy. Do our cells really need fats? Animals also need fats, which includes waxes. Fats are dissolved in the body, processed, and used in cells. The cell membrane of animal cells is made up in part of fats. These fats allow water and nutrients into the cell and keep waste products out of the cell. Fats also store energy and help cells use vitamins. Storing fat. Many animals store fats in their bodies during peak feeding seasons. This helps them survive when food is scarce. Without fats, bears would not be able to sleep through the winter. Whales could not leave Arctic waters to bear their young. For whales, that fat is blubber, which insulates or covers their bodies from the cold. Blubber also stores carbohydrates, which feed female whales' bodies for months while they head south to give birth to calves. A gray whale cow, for example, will not eat from the time she leaves the Arctic in late winter until she returns the following fall. The body gets good fats from olives, avocados, nuts, and vegetable oils. Good and bad fats. Animal bodies have fats that are sometimes called good or bad. Good fats help animals' bodies work better. For humans, good fats come from fish, soybeans, avocados, olives, and nuts. Bad fats, like fats from beef or pork, are hard for cells to use. They may clog the free flow of blood through the body. Filled with water. Water is a necessary part of all cells. In fact, nearly 2/3 of your body is made up of water. The atoms in water, hydrogen and oxygen, combine with carbon and other elements to form the products your body uses to stay healthy. Most animals' bodies have anywhere from 2/5 to 4/5 of their mass as water. You have millions of molecules of H2O, water, in your body. It's made up of the molecule of water. This is your oxygen and hydrogen atoms combined together to make the smallest unit of water.